And we're live! Hello all, and welcome back to the INVICTUS stream. My name, as always, is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and I am here tonight with the one, the only, my lovely wife, Mrs. Jo Guthrie. That's your face.
It's me!
Point at it. We're joined once again by the hilarious, one of my favorite people, Mr. James Schwartz.
Hello, everybody! Happy evening time, or wherever you may be.
Time. We are also back this week with the one and only Mr. Voice himself, Gary Furlong. Lemon Pig! And
I made that up.
No
one else, me.
My very good friend, William A. Wellman. Hello from the Hallowoods. And we are back this week with another RPG one-shot called A Clean Shave for John Davis. I don't really have a sound effect that effectually represents what tonight's game is going to be. It's a weird one.
Ominous enough.
All of the references I've tried to send most of the other players have never seen or gotten. And then when I Googled movies like the movie that we're referencing, or not referencing, but sort of we're trying to go for the vibe of a movie called Waking Ned Divine, or another Canadian one called The Grand Seduction. And I tried Googling movies like that, and I hadn't heard of any of them. So I was like, well...
Really niche. Good job.
Very niche.
It's like
area.
Avengers Ultron, or what we're talking about here.
Yeah, it's great. But anyway, here we are. It's another Wednesday night. We're back with some more RPG action. How's everybody's week been so far?
Super good.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Doing okay.
2 thumbs.
2 thumbs way up?
I got them, and they're
Both
up.
thumbs.
Whoa.
I've been off work for a whole week, so
Wow.
Oh, that's
been
nice.
Can't
Yeah,
complain
dude.
about that.
hanging out.
Yeah.
Well, let's go around the table. Well, let's start off. William, tell us a little bit about Hello from the Hallowoods, perhaps.
Yes, well, when I'm not joining you lovely people here on the INVICTUS stream, I write, produce, voice a weekly podcast called Hello from the Hallowoods. It's queer, it's spooky. It's the thing that kids on Tumblr like, so... Okay.
That's exactly...
You're selling it.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
That's malevolent as well. It's like, I don't know, the kids on Tumblr like it. So just but yeah, you can check it out at hellofromthehallowoods.com. If you like cool shit, check that out. And new episode
Today?
today.
And every
It's
It's a Wednesday thing.
Wednesday thing. New episode today. Go check it out. I'm not in this one, but it's still worth checking out. Just put it out there.
I promise.
Imagine if that was the
Soon.
metric. Harlan's not in this one, so.
Yeah. Gary, what's new in cooking with you, Gary Bear?
I have started a Regency romance audiobooks. I've got to be a British man and a lot of British ladies. I was also in a podcast via a person Harlan introduced me to, but I don't know if I can say that I'm in it because I don't know, because I only play one character, and if people know the podcast and know that I'm in it, they'll know that that character's in it. And I don't know.
What? Do I know this?
Yeah, it was the person you introduced me to
There's a
about
lot of
their
people.
podcast that they do.
Message me privately because I wonder
Can
what that is.
I just say, if you don't follow Gary on Instagram yet, you
follow?
should, because some of the shit that he
that
posts is really fucking funny.
Gary,
I don't know if
I mean,
I'm following Gary on it.
It's
Imagine
all-
Gary, but in amazing, in
It's all
hilarious
like
terms.
close-up shots of your face, like in the middle of narration, either doing silly goof 'em ups or like adding music and stuff. It's very good.
Yeah,
Last person I introduced you to, you wished me happy birthday. I don't remember who we talked about.
I sent it in the private chat.
Oh, this chat. Oh yeah, you can say that.
Yeah.
Are you in the finale?
I think so.
Oh,
I
that's
definitely
fun.
recorded lines the other day.
Yeah?
Oh, you should definitely say it. There's tons of fans of
Oh yeah, I'm in the an episode of Wobegon.
Yes!
But you spelled it with a 3.
Yes,
There is
I'm,
a 3 in it.
I'm
Is
terrible
there a
at
3 in
typing.
there?
No,
Yeah.
I made a mistake.
There's kind of a weird thing in it.
I hit the
Yeah,
E when I was typing
Wobegon.
The E, the 3. What the fuck?
There you go. If you haven't checked out Wobegon, check it out. It's a really fun show by my friend Dylan. And who do you play in the finale? I haven't listened to it.
I play a character called Hunter.
Oh, I was in a scene with you without knowing it. I play a character named Sly.
All right.
Or Sylvester or Baxter or Bax. Wobegon's got a whole.
Oh,
one
was
of those
that the
files.
like rootin' tootin' guy that you were voicing on Monday?
Yeah.
That was funny. I was having a nap and Harlan was
Come
entertaining
on out
my
of here. What? Come
Oh
on.
God.
just like that.
It is-
So many takes of that.
It
We
is
have people
funny
in-
that 3 out of the 5 of the people here were in the Wobegon.
I was just about to say because William was in the finale as well.
Me and James were busy.
Yeah,
we were doing other
had
things.
other stuff. Other stuff was going on.
William,
Sorry,
who'd you
I
play?
was busy that day.
William, who'd you play in the finale? I didn't.
I'm a character named Shadow, who I enjoy.
Ooh,
Spooky.
that's great.
Check it out. Yeah, that's the season 2 finale. I mean, Dylan's getting free fucking like publicity here. But yeah, check out Wobegon. I don't know the site. I'm sure it's
Jesus, send us
wobegon.com or
money.
something like that. I'll check it out for him. I like Dylan. Wobegon podcast. But yeah, so you can check that out. I'm so excited that you're.
was fun.
That's really
Cute.
funny.
Also, I like your T-shirt, Gary.
My T-shirt? Oh yeah, my sister got this for me.
Voice actor.
Oh, that's good.
I mean,
love
I
that.
like to tell people that my sister got it for me because she did, but like, what a douchebag I would be to walk around with
That's
the
fair.
myth, the legend about myself.
Voice actor here.
My sister buys
See
the
it?
best T-shirts, and one of the best ones is it has "This is how I roll" written on it, and there's like a sequence of a stick man doing a forward roll.
Good.
Oh, that's
which
cute.
I really, really like.
That's solid.
That's amazing. What about you, James? What's up in your world, my friend?
It's been slightly humid. So instead of it being 114 with no humidity, it's been like 114 with like some humidity. And you walk
God.
outside and it's sticky and you're hot. And I can't tell if it's slightly better or slightly worse than walking outside and feeling crispy and hot. It's bad.
sorry.
Yeah. It's
Probably
Phoenix in
sorry.
the summer. It's just what it is.
Phoenix in the summer. Love that song.
It's supposed to be like 118 on Sunday.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my
which is
God.
nasty.
Is
I'm
it
not
like
doing
that in Texas,
anything.
Gary?
Not that hot, no. Like we get in the
No,
high 90s,
no.
maybe some
Like
humidity, but not
the
like
only places that really tend to beat us out in terms of temperature is like Death Valley in California.
Aptly named.
Yeah, like we'll
Such
have 1 or 2 days here in the next couple months that break 120.
God,
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my God.
it's gross.
that's
It's disgusting.
untenable.
You learn how to live with it. You don't go outside.
I mean-
that's the trick.
I guess
Yeah.
we're getting to a point that like parts of the world will probably become uninhabitable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, this is one of them for sure.
Yeah, there will be climate
for
refugees.
Sure. Yes.
Anyway, on a lighter note, let's play a game that has nothing to do with any of that. For us, we got a new episode of Dice Shame that comes out tomorrow. Oh shit, I gotta plan that. I always forget this.
Write that down.
Write a note. Set an alarm.
I gotta record that.
No, it's done. It's done. It's
Oh,
edited.
I gotta
Harlan just
record
has to
2
post
hours of
it.
content, cut it up.
It'll
edit
be a
it, add
5-minute
content,
episode of
post
Dice
it
Shame.
tonight.
God.
I could make it happen. But yeah, there's
done.
literally last week actually. This is so stupid. This is the stupidest thing I've ever done. I've been into Dice Shame now for like 3 years or
Almost
whatever.
4 years.
Almost 4 years. And most episodes start off with like a casual conversation the way we do here, but a little tighter edited, hopefully. And then the gameplay. Some are just gameplay, but so last week I edited the episode. It had like a 15-minute intro where we're chatting about all this kind of shit. It was good to post, and then I send it to the team to listen to like make sure I didn't miss anything major. And Rob listens to it and he goes, "Didn't we do this intro before?"
I could
And
have
I
sworn.
re-edited the same, like it was like a 25-minute piece of audio. I re-edited all of it. And the episode that I'd edited already for was like 6 episodes ago. So I'd done all of it like a month and a half ago and posted on an episode. So that conversation and those jokes were already in it. And then took the raw audio and did it all again. And but weirdly kept some jokes in that I cut originally. And then was ready to post it. And then it was like this time. No, actually I did it before last week's game. And I ended up editing a whole new intro to that game. Like
And then what
quickly.
happened?
Oh, and then I posted the wrong one. Then I posted the one that had the fake. But I don't think that was my fault. Exporting fucked up. Like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
your name file's the same, anyway. So it's very, very funny. It's the worst I've ever done because I literally spent an hour editing something that I'd already done and then I did it again.
That was
So
a true gaffe.
anyway, but In terms of that, Dice Shame should be coming out tomorrow at 1:20 a.m. Check that out. It's season 2, episode 46, I believe.
Somewhere around
And
there.
new episode of Malevolent. I don't know. Probably August
Nice.
1st. It's
You gonna
ready
make them
now.
wait for it?
What's that?
Make them wait for it.
Yeah, well, see, the problem is you gotta, because I do weekly short episodes, and then I edit them together into one, but I do it every 5. So the way months work, there's only 4 in a month, so you kind of got to stagger it. So
You
I
see,
could
I
release it
thought,
right
I
now.
thought you just released a new episode when like the Arthur fan fiction hit a certain number. Like once there were enough new fan fiction
That's
about
right.
Arthur, you went ahead and you released the next one.
Write more AO3 fan fiction.
Yeah.
Then you get your precious episode.
We don't.
Yeah.
We don't. Well,
I want more Arthur fan fiction, extra sexy. 711 fan fictions from 11 are written.
can I just
currently.
say again?
711.
Nice.
Let me
Yep.
just remind the community: Discord is not for not
It's
safe for
not
work
for
content.
not safe for work. Keep it out of the
Please.
Discord.
We've
Broom
had
gift. Get
we've
the-
actually had a couple of instances this week where we've had to remind people personally
Yeah,
because
don't do it.
something about
I
these
mean, they can
boys
link
makes
to it. They
people
just can't have
so hot
conversation
and bothered.
Yeah. But
And
yeah,
you know what?
711 fanfics. That's pretty fucking
That's
crazy.
very
I
impressive.
love it. I appreciate it. Keep
I
it
mean, it's
off
impressive
the
with the community.
Discord.
It's all them. They're writing it. So that's awesome. But yeah, new episode
Applause.
probably August 1st. I think I'll make them wait. But if you want it right now, it's available on Patreon. So if you support
That's
us
right.
on Patreon, the link is in the description of this video. Go support us. You get the episode for as little as $5 a month. Which
Yep.
I think you get it for $3 a month even. So
Can I also say we have some exciting events coming up? We are
Yeah.
going to be doing Fan Expo
that's right.
at the end of August. It's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely Harlan will be in attendance. I'm going to be super big and super swollen
not big.
ankled.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I'm going to be wandering around the convention hall. Probably. I'll probably be sitting
We'll see what's
somewhere with a
happening. I mean,
soda.
that's probably a bad idea. We get tired when we go.
Yeah, we'll find out. But we're definitely going to be doing a community meetup. It's going to be a little bit different than last year's, but if you want all the details,
Yeah, you can if you want to join us for the Fan Expo meetup. There is a channel in the Discord that says Fan Expo. Just fill that out. It's RSVP only, unfortunately. We'll let you know if you can come, just because we don't want.
We can't book out a whole bar. We don't have a lot of money.
We don't got that clout.
But
Also,
that
we're not
is
paying
very
for it, to make crystal clear.
also that.
It's not like come to the bar. It's like a free
Free
fan event.
drinks!
No. You wanna come to a bar,
Drinks
we
on
wanna drink,
you.
drink. Yeah, drinks on. Well, no.
Brianna and
we'll
Michael,
buy our
we
drinks,
wish
buy
you could
your
make it
Yeah.
as well. That would be lots of fun to see you again. Secondly, we are going to be doing Extra Life again this year. This is our 7th year running. It is an incredible charity. It is for Children's Miracle Network hospitals.
Yep.
Last year, I think we topped $25,000 raised cumulatively over the
Yeah.
last 6 years.
That's
So
awesome.
this year, we're hoping to add a couple grand on top of that.
However,
Keep it coming.
normally it is November 4th ish.
First weekend in November.
We are doing our Extra Life earlier.
Mhm.
So we are doing our own Extra Life. We're bumping it up a month. Everything stays the same.
All proceeds will still be going to charity.
Honestly, the only difference is you maybe won't need to compete for other streams that might be
That's
going on the day, but everything is exactly the same in terms of us doing 24 hours. It is going to be October 7th.
That's right.
So lock that date down in your calendar if you want to join us. The reason we are doing it a month early is because our soon-to-be daughter Marie's birthday is planned to be October 13th. So if we don't do it early, then we're gonna have a possibly 2 week to 1 month to I don't know how old child that we have to take care of.
Just a wee one.
So Joe is going to be very most likely ready to burst, if not due that day. If that happens, we'll figure it out.
If you're not familiar with what Extra Life is, just briefly, it's 24 hours live stream. Harlan has been present for all 24 hours for all 6 years.
Yeah.
It's always a lot of fun. Things get a little bit hairy, but it goes from midnight to midnight. So all of October the 7th.
Yep.
Mostly we do a lot of video game streams. We do a lot of interacting with the community. We usually do some live like in-house content.
We may not
where
do
we
that this year, depending
RPGs, and we usually do hot ones as well, which we may do pre-recorded. We're kind of still sorting out the details for that.
Yes, basically it starts midnight, October 6th. So Friday night, as the late night goes, midnight hits. I am streaming for 24 hours. We're going to be playing lots of games.
And that's Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yep. So join us. We'll be raising money. And there'll be probably some
live baby introduction for the fans.
That's
obviously.
Right. We're going to
live stream the birth.
I'm going to be giving birth on camera for sure.
$50 tier and up, then you get full on access.
Yeah, and if you guys are like upper echelon tiers, Splash Zone tickets for sure.
Just in case.
Yeah, Marie, we did just say the baby's real name.
Did I say the name?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then Marie was like, "Hold on, one dang minute. Did you just say?"
Well, I think we mentioned the other day.
We did mention the other day.
And a bunch of these people know anyway that we're playing with. Y'all know the names because you're friends. Regardless, that is us for now. Let's jump into this game.
Let's do it.
People have been patiently waiting, and I'm excited to play. Who knows? It's going to be a chill time. Get comfy, get in a blanket. We're going to tell a little small town story together and try to have some fun and live vicariously the lives that we all sometimes wish we could live. So without further ado, a clean shave for John Davis. Marie Cove has a population of 114. 114 hardworking men, women, and children. Hasn't always been an easy life, but it has been a peaceful one. And there's no place on this earth more beautiful. The sun lights up the fields that surround the small handful of houses every morn, and the moon, like a great blue marble, dances in a sea of fireflies overhead every night. It's a place each of you has called home for your entire life. And it's a place that you are immeasurably proud of. It's a home that deserves recognition. Thomas Barley gave the town the idea first, a way to put Marie Cove on the map. A record. A Guinness record. The most prestigious award possible for a record that a town could have. When he brought it up a few months back at the town hall meeting, there were laughs, but in your heart you knew. A way to show that there's more to this town. Those outside its walls meant a great deal. Debated, all of you, hemmed and hawed on what kind of record. And that's when it was discovered. The cleanest shaven town in the world. Already so many men, boys, had a clean shave. What's a few more? If every man in Marie Cove agreed to shave right down to the cheek, the record would be yours. Chance to make a name for Marie Cove once and for all. Some men ran home that night and shaved. Others felt remiss, but after... Oh, you can always grow it back. And after a month's notice, The man from Guinness arrives tomorrow. But one problem remains. John Davis refuses to shave. And so, on the eve of Guinness's arrival, a town hall is called. Order! Order! The gavel sounds loud in the small chamber as everyone sort of shuffles and moves to their seats. Michelle Trelawney, the mayor, hammers loudly. Sit down! Down! Colin, sit down! She points to you, Gary, as you sort of shuffle over. Who are we looking at, Colin Baker?
Colin Baker here, local carpenter. I run the wood shop. It's called the Wood Shop. Tall, older gentleman, up until recently a long beard. Wears his work apron. In fact, little story about the wood shop. Back a few years ago when I was opening it up, a former acquaintance of mine said we should call it the Bakery because my name is Baker. We don't speak anymore. It's a wood shop. I make
Colin, you shuffle to your seat as Michelle continues smacking the gavel. Thurston Landry, where are you in the hall, and who are we looking at?
Thurston Landry shuffles in from the hall outside. He is a rectangular man with a rectangular face and prominent eyebrows. He shuffles in a little bit more fancily dressed than many of the fishermen and farmers that surround him in the hall, and takes a seat. He's had a prominent, well, not really prominent, but he has had a career as one of the few teachers for the performing arts here in Marie Cove. And he is now retired, and this is one of the few things he has left to do.
Michelle Trelawney, the mayor, nods to you as you walk up, and 2 seats down on the long table that sits at the front of the wooden hall, you see Eddie Thomas, the treasurer, who sort of nods to you, smiling, his eyes lit up. And just behind you, Thurston, shuffling into the aisle, we see Martin Thompson. Who are we looking at, Martin?
Martin Thompson is a he's an average looking guy. He's got some red hair. He used to have a very lovely prominent walrus mustache, which is now gone as the naked lip just kind of exists now. And he's wandering in with his wife Barb, and he's holding their little chihuahua. Martin is the vet assistant to the town's vet, which is Barb, his wife. And they're just trying to find a couple seats next to each other and sit down and get ready for figuring out what all the hubbub's about.
Yeah, coughs sound out as chairs kind of finally squeak into their final position. And at the back, one of the last to enter, we see Marnie Graves. Marnie, what do you look like?
Marnie Graves darkens the doorway in a wreath of smoke. She's just stubbed out her cigarette. She is always the last to show up to these town hall meetings because she is clinging to that last drag on the front porch of the town hall. They've told her many times not to do that, and she does it anyway. Her hair can only be described as coiffed. Large circular curls frame her face, graying hair. She's broad shoulders and very tall. She kind of stalks to her accustomed position, 2 seats down from Thurston, across from Martin. She nods at each of them. Her skin is like tanned leather from all of the smoke and the drink. She's wearing a bright pink pantsuit and a blindingly bright gold brooch.
As Michelle Trelawney stops banging the gavel. Order, order, sit. Okay, are we all here? Is everyone here? She turns to David Rucker, one of the town chancellors. Oh, yeah, that's everybody, more or less. Not counting John, he says, sort of with a growl under his breath. And already there's a hubbub that kind of ripples over the crowd of John subordination.
John.
That brings us to a good point. Obviously, that is why we're here. As we all know, Guinness arrives tomorrow. Clapping sort of sounds out amongst many people, but it's sparse. most of the people who know the town's pulse know what is about to be said next. And Michelle can barely bring herself to say it. David Rucker stands up and says, "Oh, if she won't say it, I'll say it. John Davis is a menace." There's a few kind of here's in the crowd. "He's a right old bugger and a real sourpuss." A few people kind of laugh and kind of chuckle under their breaths. "But he refuses to shave." For the people who are not in the know, already there's a bit of a panic amongst the back rows. Marnie sits stone-faced, kind of, again, you know what's going on with the town. And next to you, someone leans over. This is Henry Hill, the pub owner. He's kind of the person in town. He says, "John's not shaving. Is he one of your friends?"
Well, listen, Henry, we're all friends here, as I've said many, many times, all right? Yes, he can be stodgy now and then.
"He's more than stodgy," a voice calls out, and up stands Sarah Posey. She's the general store owner. She's a young girl. She inherited the store from her father. You know, she's in her mid-30s, and she sort of addresses the crowd, taking the floor. You see David Rucker at the top sort of just sits down, knowing that once Sarah starts, there's no real point. She says, "Look, we all know John deserves to be here. He's no different than any of us. He has his place in Marie's Cove, but look, we all want this more than anything. Finally, a chance to put Marie's Cove on the map, to win us an award that means something." And she sort of points behind the table at the front, and behind it you see 3 awards. One awarded in 1967 for like green lawn care, and like 2 others that are broken and sun faded beyond recognition. And it snaps back to her, and she says, "This is a chance for all of us to actually have a sense of pride in our town beyond just knowing that this is a beautiful place. The world gets to see us as such, right, Colin?" And she points to you, Colin.
I'm not gonna lie. John has wounded me this day. I thought I knew him. But I can't understand why he won't do it. You know? We've all said it to him. We've all talked to him. Every time, no. I understand what it's like to feel the caress of a long, bushy beard. But
"Well, not everyone has talked to him." And up stands Brock Beatty, the history teacher. "Not as so fortunate as you, Mr. Baker, and Mrs. Graves, Ms. Graves.
Thank you.
Martin, aren't you friends with Davis as well?"
Yeah, I've talked to Davis a couple times, over the years. I check up on him and his cat every once in a while. Yeah, I'd say we're pretty good friends. Yeah, we're good friends. Yeah, we're
good friends.
Yeah, we're good friends. Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
And Laundry, we've seen you at Henry's pub a few times, sharing a drink with Mr. Davis. Not within the last year, of course, but before his wife went missing.
He stands up from his seat. "A beard is a mask that a man wears out into the world and hides the boy that lies beneath. I am sure that we can make John see reason, but he will have to trust us with the man he once was before. And yes, I have gone to his pub from time to time."
David Rucker stands up. "Well, I think that settles it then." And the crowd's sort of half confused, half in agreement, despite not knowing what they've agreed to. "Marnie Graves, Colin Baker, Martin Thompson, and Thurston Landry will convince John Davis to shave." And uproarious sort of confusion, applause sounds out through the small hall as Michelle starts banging the gavel.
If I may, please, have a word for just a minute.
"Ms. Graves, yes."
Thank you. And Marnie stands up and turns to address everyone as much as possible in this small town hall room. "Now, as you all know, John's wife has been missing. this past year.
She's not missing. And a few chuckles sort of laugh out of the back. She left him!
Be that as it may, I don't think that it's appropriate for all townsfolk to land so heavily on John's shoulders. He's had a hard year of it. And shame on all of you for speaking ill of the man when
Rabble
he's not
starts
here.
to kind of rumble up around you, Marnie. And Michelle starts banging the gavel again. Okay, relax. Marnie is right. It's not fair to pile on Mr. Davis, whether his wife left him or went missing as he so claims. It's irrelevant. The point of the matter is, yes, John is a member of this town and deserves to be treated with respect, while at the same time, being a vital member of this town, he... Well, damn it, Ms. Graves, don't you feel he's responsible to help us get this?
Michelle, if you'll allow me to speak plainly here. I've loved living in Marie Cove since I came here 20 years ago, and its charms have always spoken to me.
Other than the cats! And again, laughter kind of back up.
Yeah, well, yes.
Well, the cats are an issue, yes.
The cats
that's
are.
irrelevant right
But
now.
its charms have never been lacking to me. Now, I see that some of you who have been here your whole lives maybe want to see the spotlight shone on this little town. I want to make sure that we don't destroy what we have in seeking for what we don't have.
Look. No one is talking about forcing Mr. Davis to shave. And there's sort of an odd quiet for a second. And Michelle kind of puts on her serious mayoral voice when she's opening the Harvest Festival. You've heard this once or twice when she's talking about starting fires. And she says, no one is going to harm Mr. Davis. But that doesn't mean we can't go about convincing him in a way that makes him see reason. Mr. Landry, you spoke of... Well, the beard hiding the face, some such thing?
It's prose, yes.
Well, we're all professionals in one way or another, but yes, go on.
John feels as though we are forcing him to give up some deep part of himself that he has nurtured, whether it is truly something that belongs to him or a wall he has built between us and him. We will have to disassemble it if we are to convince this man to shave.
Okay.
We'll do it. The four of us. Of course, we will. I just want to make sure that everyone is on John's side here.
Of course we're on John's side.
Well, good.
Rucker stands up again. Look, we love John as much as he's a real prick. And there's laughter as well. But who isn't a prick in this town? Especially the cats. And again, laughter kind of continues on. But look, the important thing here is that when the Guinness record checker comes tomorrow, what was his name? Miss Trelawney. And she sort of like raises an eye at being snapped at, and he puts his hand back in his pocket. Sorry, the name was, she says, Eric Stockard is supposed to come tomorrow at noon. And again, a little panic sort of rumbles through the crowd. But John will be shaved clean by then. And if these four have any issues, you'll report directly to me, and we'll handle it. I'm going to stay up nice and late tonight. It's only 8 p.m. now. If anything happens before midnight, speak to me, and we'll come up with a new plan or solution. David Rucker only lives next door. Damn right I do. And we can all formulate a plan. So there's no reason to be upset. By tomorrow, I promise you, 114 shaven faces will be present to be accounted for. Isn't that right, you four?
Yes.
Yeah.
Certainly
Yes.
our best. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Well, if there's no more, I suppose this meeting is adjourned. Michelle Trelawney bangs the gavel 4 times, and people start filing out of the hall. The town hall, its old wooden struts bend beneath your feet as you all start moving out the door into the evening sky. And Marie's Cove is before you. You see the small houses you've known for your entire life. You see the roiling waves off the coasts of Nova Scotia. And here you smell, you feel, you know that scent of home. It washes over the fields like a familiar breeze, a way that feels almost like a blanket. Each of you has had loves and losses, naps and hikes throughout these hills, and they are nothing if not second nature. And as everyone begins filing past you, you're offered a bizarre jumblings of well wishes, fearful warnings, and a few side eyes doubting that you'll get the job done. Michelle Trelawney kind of ends up with the others at the table. She hangs at the top of the steps for a moment. So you 4 can get it done then?
We'll certainly go and talk to John again, okay? I mean, I don't understand what you think. What? Sorry. I was going to compose myself here. We'll try our very best to get it done. We've all talked to him before, and he said no. Now, you know John as well as we do. He says, once he has his mind set on something, very difficult to get him to change it.
There is a record broken on the back wall of the town hall. It is for a performance of Hamlet from our own Wharton School of Art. It is only a finalist. It was not the winner. And I have regretted my failings to this town ever since. This record, I will not fail.
That's what I want to hear, Landry. Michelle nods to you and to Thompson, and she walks off towards her house, only a few 100 feet away. And behind her, Henry Hill steps down the steps, the bar owner, the tavern keeper. Look, if you can do it, around tonight. Bring him back clean shaven, and I'll guarantee you each a pint on me.
Aye.
Well, then I'd say the matter's settled then.
Very generous of you, Henry.
Brilliant. And if you need to lubricate him, bring him by anyway. I'll give him one. And Henry walks off into the night whistling. Martin, your wife Barb sort of stands beside you, and she kind of looks at you expectantly.
Well, Barb, it looks like I'll be up for at least a while longer. Here, I'll take Stu, and you go home and get some rest. You got a lot of appointments tomorrow, and I'll make sure Stu has his pills in about a half hour, and I'll see you when I get home, I guess.
She silently smiles, nods, kisses your cheek, wipes the lipstick, and walks off towards home.
All right. I've been giving this a little bit of thought. Now, it hasn't been too long, but here's the best I can come up with. If we like the ghosts of the Christmas Carol. What is that called? The Nightmare.
Christmas Ghost
The
Carol?
The Christmas Carol by
Yes.
Charles Dickens.
That's the one.
Thank you, Thurston. If we visit him one at a time, perhaps we'll have some luck. I really don't want him to feel like he's being ganged up on, you know? If we each have a slightly different tactic, perhaps, a different way to go about it. Maybe even we don't let him know that we've been talking independently, you see.
Spread out the visits.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you think?
Who then would like to be John's Jacob Marley?
No one here's called Jacob.
You'll have to explain the reference, Thurston.
That is the first visitor,
Oh.
a harbinger of the other 3, the past, the present, and the future, of which John's is clean-shaven.
Well, I didn't pass Harbinger classes at carpentry school, but I'm pretty sure I can give it a try first, if people don't mind.
Please, Colin.
By
Yes.
all
Relatively.
means, Colin.
relatively calm at this moment. I don't want to.
No,
If I think about it too much, I'll get angry, and I don't want to run in there shouting at him. Yep, I'll try. I'll go.
Good man.
I'll go second.
Okay.
He likes me fine, and we'll have a drink together.
Sounds good. I'll go third because I Thurston, I think you would have some very poignant things to say, probably from one of the plays you've put on and talked about. That would help wrap all of this up, like Jacob Marley.
Choice words. I will be John's beard future.
It's like planing a plank of wood. Start with the rough, plane it down, end with the smooth.
Yes. Thank you, Colin.
There we go.
Very apt.
That's good.
The four of you begin walking down the pebblestone way towards John Davis's house. He lives just by the waterfront in a large 2-story building. The four of you approach together in the night.
Mm-hmm.
What do you talk about while you walk?
Marnie's walking her bike beside her. The light on it is just barely illuminating the path underfoot. There's crickets hopping out of the way as we walk.
Marnie, that wallpaper you put in for Carson and I is a work of art. It takes
I'm
my breath
so
away each time I put on
glad
my
you
shoes
like
in the
it.
hall.
Oh, I thought the lavender might be a little bit understated. You don't find in the afternoon light, you don't miss some of it in with the greens, the spray greenery that I had set up earlier.
In the afternoon light, it shimmers like a field in the late autumn.
She clutches your suit jacket with these 2-inch long magenta talons. I'm so pleased. Oh, can't even tell you.
Certainly.
That's wonderful.
Martin, have
Yes.
you consulted Marnie for your interior design needs? I find she has a
I keep
wonderful sense of
telling
taste.
him, yes,
Yeah,
but
she
Barb
does.
has her own ideas.
Barb likes the house, white
Rustic.
walls. Yeah, she says it looks more professional that way for when she has to do surgeries, every once in a while.
Well, then it looks much the same as your veterinarian clinic.
I keep saying, just a splash of stained glass. That's all I ask. Just a bit of stippling on the ceiling. Perhaps some decorative drapes, but no. Lovely woman, Barb. No taste.
Well, I mean, I would say differently. I mean, she found me after all.
And
I'm
Marnie
pretty-
casts a side glance at you, just a quick top to tail.
Yeah, and as you do that, you go top to tail. You start at the bottom. You see Stu, the little umpteen-year-old Chihuahua, just
He's growling at a cat as it passes.
Yeah.
Fucking cats.
Oh yeah, they're like all over the hills. There's just cats everywhere. And the four of you arrive at John Davis's house. It's lit up as it would be any other night. And as you kind of arrive, the four of you realize you haven't really seen John in a long time. In fact, this last year, he's always been sort of a barfly of sorts. You'd sit down with him, you'd have a chat. He sort of stonewalls. He's very gruff. But there's something about him that's always just been appealing. He's got this charisma without any effort whatsoever. He's not a charismatic person, but you yearn for his attention. And every time you'd pull him over to a chair, you'd talk his ear off and he'd kind of just gruff at you and you'd kind of nod along. But the past year, it's been a lot less present. In fact, until all of this debacle happened, you couldn't really remember the last time you saw him at Henry's.
What's John's wife's name?
Maris.
And what's his occupation and what did he do?
It's a great question. What did he do, Colin?
I would like to think has something to do with boats.
He
That
did.
would help. Oh,
Yep.
cool. Okay.
Nice.
The sailor.
Well,
Correct.
Colin, I wish you luck. And I'll try not to follow you too close behind, but the night is getting on.
Yes, I'll try be brief. We don't want to. I'll try elude to what we want, but I'm just gonna go. If I think too much about this, it's not gonna work. And he'll just like tromp on up to the door.
Break a
Yeah.
leg.
You do, with a across the pebbles of the beach. He sort of lives right at the waterfront, and it's much calmer here. It's like a little cove off in Marie's Cove, and you walk up to the old wood door, and yeah.
Colin will take a look at the wood door first and just be like, I don't know if that was weather treated. Could probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very
He's like-
old, very stone-like buildings.
Yeah, he'll like, doom doom doom, knock on the door. John.
Yeah, there's no answer.
Go around. Is there any? He'll go down to a window and just kind of like see if he can peep in around.
Yeah, you look into the windows, you see a small kitchen, yellow walls, you see an old sink. This house is built around a lot of the houses in this area in the like mid 1800s. It's a real old house, stone foundation. As you kind of move around, you see the weathered wood and the small little lavatory in the back of this floor. Stairs leading up, but you don't see anyone on this floor.
Do a little knock on the window, like dun dun dun. John, it's me, Colin Baker.
Doesn't seem like he's answering the door or
Right.
knocking on the window.
Colin will go straight to the door and just see if it's open.
Yeah, of course. In Marie's Cove, every door is open.
So he'll open it up, like you lean in and just be like, when you like open someone's door, you don't like, am I supposed to do this? I don't think I am. You're like, John, it's me,
Yeah.
Colin. I'm coming in. You here?
You step into his kitchen. It's a small, quaint little affair. The floor is all wood. It seems rather spick and span. You've never been in John's house before, but it doesn't seem like he's eaten or done dishes as of late at all. There's a small kitchen here. To the left, there's a set of stairs that head up to the second story, and there's a small bathroom under the stairs. And then obviously in the center of the room, a dining table.
No sign of him at all.
No,
What is it? Sorry, did you say it's a single story or there's an upstairs?
upstairs.
I think he's gonna stick
Do
his head back
it.
out the door. Well, okay. I'm gonna run up the stairs, just be like, John, I'm coming upstairs, John. Okay, and he's going dum 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 up the stairs.
Yeah, and you're greeted to a small hallway. There's sort of a long hallway that's dark. At the end of it, you see sort of a cross window and light pouring through, and then you see two doors, one on the left and one on the right.
Knock on every door. Just dun dun dun. John.
Yeah! You knock on one door, you kind of creak it open. You see, it's like a little bit lopsided. You know, this house has shifted over
Yeah.
time, and you look in and you see John's bed, neatly made, two spots where him and his wife would sleep. Doesn't seem like there's one here. One across the hall, sort of like a water closet. You look in and nothing there. And you continue down the hall to this small area that sort of has the light pouring in. And you enter this sort of offshoot. It's almost like a sitting room. There's no door to it. It's just part of the upstairs. And as you stand there, you sort of look out the window to the crashing waves below, and you turn around to see John. He's sitting. He's just sitting with his back against the wall in this small room.
Hey, John. How you doing, buddy?
Colin, he says. His eyes are staring directly past you at the window, and he's bathed in darkness.
I'm gonna turn the light on there for you, buddy.
If you like.
You flick the light on.
Yeah, and you see him, John Davis, his big, white, bushy beard. Not unwieldy, just a good distance, a few inches. It's sort of all scraggly and twisted, and he sits there in plain clothes you've always seen him in, this checkerboard sort of button-up fleece number, and on top of his head is a tinfoil hat.
Colin came in with like kind of bluster and was like, I'm gonna sort this out right now. I'm gonna fix this. And is really taken aback by what he's seeing. So he'll walk over tentatively, just like to where he can kind of look in John's eyes, be like,
Hi there, John. What you looking at there, friend?
Window.
Right. Well, look, John. The thing is, I came in to talk to you, and wonder if I could have a moment of your time.
Sure.
excuse me. There we go.
So, John, you're familiar with boats, right? Big wooden ship made of fine white American oak. Very strong. A complete vessel. You know what that feels like, right? To be on one of those boats, John?
Yep.
Yeah. Have you ever been on one of those boats, John, when just one plank is rotted? Just one plank towards the bottom. No matter how strong. No matter how strong the rest of the boat is, John. If the one plank is not as the same as the rest, what happens, John, typically, in a boat like that, in that condition?
No boat.
No boat.
John, and he'll feel his own, like, cleanly shaven face.
Yeah, smooth as a baby's bottom.
I think you know why I'm here, John. We gotta be...
Lonely?
Lonely?
Yeah.
Are you lonely, John?
Nope. You seem lonely to me, though.
This actually does strike a nerve.
Are you listening here, John? I'm not the one sitting in a dark room looking out a window, talking to you about boats here. So, shave your stupid face, John. Okay? You'll be calling me lonely. You know what, John? I was looking at your door downstairs, and that thing is not gonna last the winter. And I was gonna treat that door for you, John. I was gonna treat that door for free. You know what I mean? I was gonna help you out. 'Cause I'm your friend. I'm your neighbor. But if you're gonna just sit here and call me names and insult me, well, that's just it, John. I'm out of here. You shave your stupid face. Do it now. Do it tonight, John.
And he'll turn around and, like, storm out.
Yeah, and you just hear, "Evening, Colin," as you, like, walk out.
Shut up, John.
He'll,
Yeah,
like,
Colin, you head down the stairs with a heavy clump
trump
and
back to
out the front
group,
door. Yeah.
Just be like,
I think I made a mistake. I think I messed up. Someone's got to go. Maybe more than one person's got to go to fix what I got angry.
Were you yelling at him?
I told him to shave his stupid face.
Did you use those words exactly?
Exactly.
We heard
multiple
them.
times.
He did, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. He called me lonely. I think he might be right. I didn't know how to deal with it. I'm so sorry.
Colin,
I'm so sorry.
Colin, calm down. Deep breaths now.
Okay.
Why don't you go to the pub? And we'll meet you there. All right?
I'll bring.
But he needs
bottles back or
friends.
something.
Doesn't he want to stay together?
Aw.
I'm gonna stay here and calm down. If I drink, I'll drink all night, and I'll be worse. I'll stay here.
Colin, here. Hold stew. And in 5 minutes, I need you to give him one of these pills.
Okay.
It's like a giant pill. You can, like, feel it fall into your hand with the weight. And as you do, like, 3 cats come up meowing, thinking that you have food.
I suppose they want this little rat thing I have here. Okay.
Awesome. Great. You do that. Marnie, why don't we go talk to John? Let's see if we can't smooth this out a little bit.
Yes, maybe 2 at once.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can't convince him. I think I have a plan
Okay.
up my sleeve. Yes. And she stubs at her cigarette and we go in.
Yeah, Marnie and Martin walk into the house. Meanwhile, Thurston and Colin, you're sort of just sitting on these large rocks, looking at these small waves sort of wash up on the pebble shore for a moment.
Are you lonely, Colin?
Oh, sir, why did you have to ask me that? You always know the way to get me to talk. I think maybe. Yes, all right, yes. No one comes to the wood shop anymore. They call me on my cellular telephone.
Despicable.
I don't like it. But we have each other, don't we? We're all friends here. You're not lonely, are you?
You do not seem, in this moment, as though you think of me that way. You seem like a man drowning without a good piece of wood to cling on to.
You know, you using a wood metaphor with me. If I had any doubts before, you are a good friend.
I chose it specifically for you.
I know.
I will come down to the woodshop more often.
I would really like that.
Marnie and Martin, you enter up the top of the stairs and you head to the small open room at the back, bathed now in light as well as moonlight from outside, to see John Davis sitting sort of just to the right of the door with his back against the wall. He's wearing his fleece coat and he's wearing a tinfoil hat.
Evening, John.
Hi, John.
Evening.
Do you mind if we join you?
Nope.
All right. Marnie pulls up another chair and sits beside him, looking out the window.
And Martin just kind of slumps against the wall on the other side and just is like slumped against the wall but sideways, so he's staring directly at John.
Can I ask you a question, John?
Sure.
Where did you get that lovely chapeau?
Made it.
Made it?
Mm-hmm.
Of your own design. Very well done. And can I ask why?
Aliens.
Oh. Pardon me. I know it's been some time since we've had our bridge nights. Since Maris left. But I've never heard you speak about aliens before.
Well, it only came about a year ago. Took Maris.
Oh. And she casts an eye over at Martin.
His mouth is just open and kind of disbelief.
Well, I wasn't aware that that had happened to you, John. And I'm very sorry. That must have been quite a fright.
Wasn't too frightening, just difficult.
I see. And John, I'm going to be honest with you. Martin and I are here because we want you to shave your beard.
I assumed as much.
I'm sorry to ask that of you when you are clearly in the middle of something very important here.
Don't need to patronize.
Oh, I'm not.
Oh, it's all right. I know. That's why I haven't told any of you. And for the first time, he breaks eye contact with the window and he looks at you. Marnie, Martin,
John?
I'm not asking you to believe. Just asking you to respect.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Oh, that's quite a tale.
John, I don't want any of these questions to come across as harsh, but I don't think I've ever asked you. Why won't you shave your beard?
He sort of nods and looks at you, Martin. You look good without a beard.
Thank you.
But about a year ago, exactly a year ago tomorrow, the aliens came and took Maris. And he looks at the window and looks back at you. But I'm worried that if I shave, well, that they won't recognize me when they take me up to be with her. You know, she'd make him come back for me,
You see? I know that she wouldn't want to go on alone. So I'll wait here till tomorrow. Looking the same. And he kind of gestures to his clothes. Wearing the same thing. And that way, we'll be together.
I see. And why the hat?
We were wearing them a year ago. Maris's idea. A bit of fun.
I see. Well, that all sounds quite well thought out.
I can show you where they landed.
Please, I would love to see.
Right? And John stands up. You see his pretty tall, lean figure. You know, he's an older man in his late 50s. You see the lines in his neck, his sun-bleached sort of skin, similar to yours, Marnie. And without really waiting, he leads the way. He turns around down the hall and he walks down the stairs.
And as
Martin wants
sorry.
to just give a quick look to Marnie and just
Yeah.
kind of like gauge expressions, because he's in kind of disbelief. Like, this isn't where he saw this going, and he's just like, I guess we're going on an adventure now.
Martin,
What do we do with it? Yeah, Marnie. What?
I've heard rumors in town that Maris isn't really gone. She's been seen. She left him. Are we really going to just allow him to live through this whatever delusional fantasy this is? This can't be
Well,
healthy. What happens when she doesn't come tomorrow?
Then I think he'll have to face the reality of his situation, whatever that is.
Does he look like a man who's ready to face the reality of this situation?
No, but he
Martin.
made it sound like tomorrow's kind of like the final day of waiting.
We
Like
have
he said, he was
something
gonna
else.
wait until tomorrow.
All
And
of the
then-
townsfolk are waiting for this to happen tomorrow, and do you think they're going to make it easy for him?
No, I don't. But when you said it yourself, when was the last time any of us sat down and talked to John? When was the last time any of us came inside his house? I've never done it.
God, I feel like an asshole.
That's the point. We have unintentionally been an asshole to this man for the past year. No one knew that he thought his wife got taken by aliens. And what kind of neighbors are we to care so little?
And she takes
It's
Martin
making
by
me
the
care
arm,
a whole lot right now is what it's doing.
steers him down the stairs towards where John is leading.
Yeah, meanwhile, Colin and Thurston, you see John burst out of the door that he came in. Well, just walking.
I've
He
been
walks
thinking
through.
of getting a new end table and a.
And he
dark
turns.
mahogany.
I could really help you. Oh,
And he heads towards the back of the house to where there's large fields.
evening, Thurston.
The eagle flies.
And he's just sort of walking. And then a few minutes later, a few seconds later, you see Marnie and Martin burst into the door as well.
Just look over and be like,
It's worse than we thought.
Oh dear.
Marnie rushes after John.
just start.
Yeah. And John and the four of you start walking, and John leads you into this field. As he's walking, he sort of looks up.
Beautiful night tonight.
Just kind of looking around. You see the glint of his tinfoil in the light. And he marches you to the center of the field. And all the grass is sort of short, and he stops and he turns around and he says,
Right here. What's right here, John? We landed.
This is where they the aliens picked up Maris.
Oh fuck.
take a look there and there. And he kind of walks over to like areas in the field, and he stands and he points down and he's like,
One of the
divots landed here. And he sort of stands in like, maybe a 2-inch hole and steps out and does it in 3 more spots.
What were you guys doing out in this field, John?
We weren't out in the field, no.
Oh,
Eris and I were in bed. And,
okay.
We had just been goofing around in the kitchen, making these hats. And, well, I'd heard the sound. Eris had stirred, and I thought maybe she had gone to the restroom. And then I woke up a few minutes after, wondering where she had gone, and then I walked to the kitchen window, and I had noticed her hat was gone, and I looked out the back window at the field here, and I saw it. It was sitting right here.
What did it look like?
Well, it was big, silver, kind of like you've seen in them alien movies. UFO, I believe they call it.
And then you watched as Maris climbed aboard and it took off into the sky?
Well, you can see his eyes sort of flick side to side. Yes, I suppose so.
Huh.
Okay.
That was 1 year ago tomorrow night. So, I don't want to shave. So Maris will recognize me when she comes on back to scoop me up before we head off. Or she comes home and I want to look the same for her. Either way.
John, what will you do if she doesn't come?
Think she won't come.
I don't know. This is the first I've heard of this whole situation, and I'm sorry that so much time has passed since we last spoken about anything of this nature. I wish I had known, truly. But on the off chance that nothing happens tomorrow, what will you do?
You know? You do if your dog said hello.
What do you mean?
Well, there's no sense in having answers to questions that won't happen.
I see.
Anyway, so that's why I don't really want to shave. Sorry about the town. I know it's important to all of you, but,
Marnie looks over to Thurston. Like, sorry, it's your turn.
I had a son. His name was Lewis. We adopted him. It was a lengthy process. By the end of it, I was overjoyed to finally have him without strings, without paperwork left to sign. 3 years he lived with Carson and I. And then at the boating club, where the youngsters of our town learn how to navigate the ocean, there was a terrible accident. You may remember it, John. 8 months after, I was still looking around every morning, waiting for his footsteps to come down the stairs. I can tell you, John, there is never a long enough time to move on. Thurston nods and goes back to walking along the beach towards their little rendezvous campsite.
Barry Shaker saw it too.
Did he?
Yep. He points to the top of the hill, to the building next.
He saw it too. You can ask him.
Oh, this is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
John.
John, could you... I hate to be a bother. I think this night's gonna go on a bit longer than I thought. Do you have any coffee?
Rather not entertain if it's all the same to you, Martin.
That's understandable.
Okay, John, I appreciate the situation that you're in. I do, truly. Maris is a lovely woman, and you must be very excited to see her tomorrow.
Brimming.
But this is a very important day for the town. Very important. Listen. I couldn't give a rat's ass about the Guinness Book of World Records. But I do care about these people. And I know that there's a lot of them. Michelle and Eddie and Henry and Sarah, who have their hearts set on this silly thing. This shaving thing. Now, I know that you're a caring man under that gruffness. Or else you wouldn't have waited this whole year to see your wife again. You do have a heart. I know it of you. What if we were to come up with some kind of loophole that would let the town still get their silly record and would leave you intact for the aliens?
Sure. Whatever.
Well, gentlemen, we'll have to just be cleverer than the Guinness Book of World Records. It's so simple.
Good luck to you. And he starts walking back towards us.
Whoa, John,
whoa,
we
whoa.
still need some of your cooperation with this, please. If it's not too much to ask.
All right.
Now, what if we hide him?
Mm-hmm.
And
To be open to that, John? Maybe. Depends on where I'm being hid.
well, where would you be amenable to? Couldn't be somewhere where you would be easily found. And then we would have to come up with the other aspect, which is duplicating another member of the town so that the Guinness person still counts 114 people, which is a problem we'll cross when we come to it. But the first step is hiding John Davis.
Martin, Colin, you know this town inside and out. What are some places? Who have some basements? What are some spots that jump out into your mind?
Yeah, it could. So there's any number of like basements that Colin has worked on, like to build stuff in, or like, and he'll actually look to Thurston and be like, "So, I mentioned earlier when we were talking, when you made me open up so beautifully.
Yes.
I want to rebuild the stage for you, for the people to act on. The stage is generally hollow, but can be made to be seemingly inaccessible while having a little place to hide someone. Let's just say I can make a door look not like a door with a bit of sandpaper and a plane.
There is a trapdoor that leads beneath the stage.
Yes, exactly. That's one.
Is that something that you could do in 12 hours?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a fair idea. Gosh, what else we could do?
I've returned with coffees, by the way, for you.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
thank
Thurston,
you.
you come over to the coffee and you notice that John Davis is gone and he's sort of sitting over at the side of the field in like a little fire pit area, and you all walk over under the stars. And as it sort of becomes this like quieter night, you all grab coffees and you formulate a plan.
It is likely that Eric Stockhart does not know of John. Therefore, we might be able to swap out 114 clean-shaven faces is all he needs.
But where are we going to find the extra person? That's the problem. What? We're just going to convince some person to what?
I have a concept. It just glances to make sure that, he's a little bit over with Martin, out of listening distance of John. But it is not a pleasant concept. It has been said that Maris still haunts this town, or has been seen outside of it from time to time. I wonder if we might invite her back to the village and solve John's psychosis at the same time.
You're saying if we find Maris before tomorrow, that John will, what, shave his beard out of recognition?
Maris will be our 114th member, and John will begin to move on.
Not bad, Thurston, not bad. But we would have to find Maris, of course, which I think John has been trying to do for the past year. Martin, any ideas?
I mean, coming up with a person honestly seems a lot harder than making a person no longer exist.
You know
right?
about all kinds of animals. Your
Yeah.
home is a veritable zoo. Do you have any taxidermied creatures? Anything you can do with barnyard animals?
A monkey.
Be creative, Martin.
We don't have any monkeys. There's the closest thing you're gonna get is the leg of a horse, and even that's drastically different than a person. I mean, we have a mock
You have a parrot.
skeleton.
You have a parrot. I've seen him.
We
He
have a
speaks
parrot.
very convincingly.
Very convincingly
true.
and very crudely.
What
It's
if-
John?
What if the 114th member of Marie's Cove is a parrot?
Are parrots naturally clean-shaven?
They are. Loophole.
Can you shave a parrot?
I mean, they don't have hair, they have feathers. That's not something you could even shave, so I don't think it would be classified as clean shaven.
Could we
it
shave
wouldn't
the parrot?
qualify. Barb would get mad at that one, I think.
She doesn't have to know until it's too late.
But so
We'll knit him a sweater.
Martin, have you ever sheared a sheep? Have you done so while keeping the wool fully intact?
well,
Can that be done to a human beard?
yeah, I suppose so. If you get it all in a good tight knot first.
You might line the interior with wax so that it stays on as a warm mat that applies rigidly to the face.
So we can tell him it's temporary. We take it off as is and give it back to him. That's all I can think of. I'm not a...
I mean, that's
I have had to
Pretty.
make such things for Othello.
you've done it before.
We've seen
Well,
the
I think that's a much easier solution than plucking the feathers out of a parrot.
He would need proof of concept.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that there's no more beards left to shave.
You okay, James?
Yeah, I'm good.
Do we, for a second,
Mm-hmm.
want to entertain the idea of asking the neighbor about the aliens? I don't want to believe there's aliens here. I don't believe it. But he said a second person saw it.
I have recently discovered, Colin, that there's a lot of things that go on in our lovely town of 114 people that I have no idea about.
Such as what?
Such as Maris being picked up by aliens.
Oh.
I imagine John Davis is back in his house now, and the four of you are like walking towards some unknown destination, deciding what the hell to do next. It's like smash cut jumping in time. You're like at Henry's pub for like 1 second.
Yeah.
You're like outside arguing and vomiting into a trough, and you're back in the pub. And it rolls
And
around
another
to 11
one,
PM.
another one, Marnie. Why are there so many gosh darn cats here?
As you say that, there's cats all over the bar floor just meowing and walking around, picking at peanut shells.
You know,
Great mysteries like that. Great
I've
mysteries
always
like,
heard
what
every-
color is the inside of John's wallpaper? I didn't know that until tonight.
I've always heard that every town is either a cat town or a dog town, and I just assumed that Marie's Cove was very, very, very much a cat town. But perhaps there's
I don't like it,
something
but I agree.
else going on here.
I move that we speak with the neighbors to better understand John's condition before we take our plan of action. If we are to shorten John's face and turn it into a false beard he can wear tomorrow for the interstellar visitors, I think it will even so take him some convincing.
And a voice calls out from behind the bar, Henry Hill. He's like, well, then get on with it! And the rest of the bar is like, all listening in your conversation. They're like, whoa! It's nearly midnight, guys! Come on!
All right, let's go.
You all pour out of the bar.
Yeah.
Stumble up to the house.
Yeah, so you're going to Very Shaker's house?
I think so.
I think so,
That's the
yeah.
neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you walk up to this sort of house overlooking the field, overlooking John Davis's house, which you left hours ago now. John's fast asleep. And as you knock on the front door of Very Shaker's house, the lights are all out. The four of you drunkenly leaning kind of in the front doorway as he opens the door. Hello?
We have come to speak with you about...
It's about John! We
Jesus
need to talk to you
Christ.
about John.
Martin, your breath, it smells like booze and what else?
Coffee.
Did you get-
Definitely coffee.
Did you get into Henry's Peanuts again?
No.
He always does. He won't admit
Calm,
to it,
Marnie.
but he always does.
It's nearly midnight. What is
Peanuts.
going on?
You'll have to excuse us. We have a very important matter to speak with you about.
Marnie, why do you have 2 cigarettes lit?
This is not of any concern of yours.
You guys are letting the cats in. He steps out and like shuts the door
Oh,
behind.
sorry. Sorry about that. Did you see Aliens a year ago? Tell us
the
true.
What are you talking about?
We just talked to John couple hours ago. And he said that Marius got picked up by aliens a year ago tomorrow night, and you saw.
Oh, yeah. A year ago, he had a big weird thing in his field.
What was it like? Can you describe it?
Sure. My house rattled a little bit. I woke up and I looked out the window, and there was this big sort of, I don't know, the way it looks in movies, like a big UFO thing, and it was landed in this field, and then I went back to bed.
Did he talk to you about Maris?
No, he's always kind of kept to himself.
Oh, I know, but I figured maybe never mind.
No, he's a grump. He's an old bugger. He's a real sourpuss. I don't talk to
And
him.
you didn't think the UFO thing was weird.
You went
Of
back
course I
to
said it was
sleep
weird. What?
after seeing a UFO.
Well, of course. Wouldn't you?
Maybe.
I guess so.
Why? I guess, but I'd tell someone about it the next day for sure.
Likely
Why?
closer
I'd
look.
be, cause it's a UFO.
Let me ask you a question, Martin.
Yeah.
When John told you tonight, did you believe him?
Well, honestly, I kind of did.
Well, I'm glad. Did you all too?
No, of course I didn't. And I don't believe you either.
Well, then that's why I didn't tell anybody. And he walks back inside. Now, good night. He shuts the door. And then he opens it and kicks a cat out. Get out! And he shuts the door.
What if we're thinking about this all the wrong way? What if we've messed this up? Because what's more important is having everyone with a clean-shaven face, or being known as the only fishing town outside of New Mexico that has had alien contact?
No, Martin, that's the drink speaking. You don't really believe that.
I'm just saying there's 2 people here who saw it, and 1 person with a beard.
All right.
How would we
All right.
prove it?
This is better.
Is it? I'm just kind of saying things that come into my head.
New plan. She points at Martin and then Thurston and then Colin. We keep the Guinness Book of World Records man here long enough to see an alien. But that means that we have to delay him from noon until night and keep him from being suspicious long enough to be here in town when it happens, and we have to get him out to John Davis's house.
And if there is no alien, then John will be content to shave and be ready for the count by the time he arrives.
This is going to take everybody in town. Let's get to Henry's bar.
And that you do. And it's the last thing you remember. 11 a.m. clicks by as you
Yes.
each wake up in various positions in your individual houses. Thurston, there's a steaming coffee next to you that Carson left. And Martin, Barb has left you a message with a frowny face on it. Colin, you are covered in wood shavings you did some late night planing. And Marnie, you have a half empty bottle of scotch that is half full of not scotch anymore.
Cigarette butts.
Cigarette butts.
Damn.
Smash cut to the 4 of you like awkwardly meeting out front of town hall around like 11:40 as everyone is like kind of lined up waiting to like welcome the Guinness. And as you arrive, there's like a hubbub. Like Michelle like pushes through the crowd. She's like, "You got him to shave, right? You got him to shave, right? Because there is no time anymore. He is not here, but that's fine.
You don't
All
understand,
good.
Michelle.
Got to shave? All good, Colin? Okay, thank you." And as
What?
she walks back, like David Rucker's like, "Good on ya, they did it!" Turns around and like starts hooking up, like clapping, and everyone's like, "Woo!
What happened? What did I do?
We're gonna win it!"
Nothing yet.
No.
And the 4 of you are kind of like at the back of this like group for a second. The 4 of you.
Is there a stage or a podium of any kind?
Yeah, totally. There's like a podium at the front.
And we still have 15 minutes until?
You'd think so, but you hear like the rumbling of a car
Oh no.
just coming down the thing.
You hear the cats yowl off in the distance.
Thurston shuffles faster than he has shuffled in 30 years.
Yeah.
Up to the podium.
Yeah.
Taps him.
Everyone
like,
kind of looks at you like, "He's coming." What, Thurston?
To beard or not to beard?
Oh God, Thurston, not
That
right
is the
now.
question. We have devised a plan to get John Davis to shave.
What? The crowd's like kind of confused. He's not
But-
shaved yet?
He has agreed to shave at 8 p.m. this
8
evening.
p.m. He's only here for an hour, and the crowd starts going like
So,
angry.
each of you must delay him 24 minutes.
Michelle like runs up to the podium. He's like, Thurston, can we do that? Can we do that?
We
And she's
will.
looking around, and Henry's like, I can make him eat some peanuts. That always makes people sick. Brock Beatty's like, I gotta talk about history of the town waterfront. It's like nodding. Father Michael
Whatever
McDonald.
you can do to
I could do a little
slow
sermon while he walked
down
by the
the
priest.
count.
All right, I suppose. And like Michelle's like, okay, fine. Martin, go talk to those people. Marnie, make sure everyone at the back understands. Colin, get all the kids organized. And there's like kind of like a hubbub of everyone's moving.
Where's
There's
his
like a-
car right now?
His car's like careening down. Like you see the plume of smoke like driving down the dirt road to it. And there's like kind of a quick back and forth as this car sort of comes out in front of the town hall and everyone steps away and it just comes to a stop. And it's a small little like Mini Cooper, and it stops in a plume of smoke that catches and everyone falls silent. And the door opens. And out steps this like embarrassingly tall, early 30-year-old man with thinning black hair and tiny little wire-rimmed glasses. And he's wearing a very like neat suit and his hair is combed over. And he's like, hello. My name is Eric Stockard. I'm here to judge the town for the Guinness record of clean faces.
Everyone is looking at him with just like
They're all like, he's like, I'm very uncomfortable right now. He turns to Michelle Trelawney and she's like, oh yes, of course, Mr. Stockard. Yes, Mr. Stockard. I think it would make a lot more sense. We had planned to have everyone here, but with a town like this, there's so much, history, and we thought to stretch those legs. She like looks up at him. Those legs. You might have more fun going around to the 114 people in town and seeing them in their habitat. But we also wanted to greet you. So go, everyone, and be where we discussed. And like the town like sort of like turns and everyone starts bumping into each other. And she's like, and these 4 are going to be responsible for this. And she sort of backs away and like trips a little bit and continues backing away. And you see her turn and like run towards her house. And Eric Stockard sort of turns back to his car and then turns to the 4 of you, now the 5 of you alone in front of this building, and he's like, oh, hi, hello.
So where are you from, Mr. Stockard?
Oh, well, I came from that direction, and then before there I came from over the bridge, and then
Mr. Guinness Book of World Records, welcome to Marie's Cove. Smell the salt air in your nostrils.
Your breath is quite terrible.
Can you just
Sniff
smell
that too?
it?
Yes.
The first stop on our tour is the lovely waterfront. If you'll please come with me. And she pats her bicycle, which is just a bicycle built for one.
Oh, well, I suppose I can walk alongside.
No, please,
Colin will
please.
like, come on, up you go.
Our
you go.
esteemed guest, and I
Only the best for you, Mr.
get
Stockard,
this
sir.
very tall
He like
man
sits on like
sit on the
front.
handlebars,
This
and
is
we
my
just
briefcase is actually in the car.
start
Okay.
pedaling
And
down.
we see like Marnie and Eric Stockard like
We hope you
biking
enjoy
down
your
this
stay.
like pebbly road towards the waterfront, just like hitting bumps all along the way. His like glasses are like jostled. He's like going down all these ways, and yeah, you guys skid out in front of the waterfront.
Meanwhile, I'm imagining the other 3 like frantically getting something else prepared,
Colin.
literally anything else.
Yeah, Marnie, you like keep him occupied for like 20 minutes, and he's like, I really should.
You brought the carving tools, yes?
I always have them with me. And you see, like, it has like a utility belt
Yes.
full of different like planes and chisels and.
Spike the tires.
I like it.
And even though the muscles here in the
Did you
water
hear that
do have
hissing?
beards,
I hear like a hissing.
technically they're not part of the town citizens, and
You're
so
getting quite loud.
it can't possibly be.
I feel like there's like an hour later, and Marnie has her bike like tipped over and like has leaked her own tires. It's just like I don't know. And he's
100%.
he's like walking along the beach and being like, I wasn't dreading today, but I must say that I do enjoy the small town vibe you have here.
Why, thank you. And you look very hungry. Can I just say, this pub is one of the best in the region.
Oh, do they have vegan,
Come on
vegan
in.
fare? Vegan food?
We go inside. I don't answer his question.
I feel like at that point, Colin has gone in thinking like Guinness Book of Records, Guinness Book, Guinness. Okay, we might have that. Guinness and oysters. Yeah, that's a good. That is actually a common pairing. So he'll have been on the beach looking for whatever looks like an oyster, and we'll have like a tray and just be like, Guinness Book of Records.
There's like 4 rocks.
No, it's
a
like
clam.
it's like 4 raw mussels that haven't been cooked.
Yeah.
Oh
They're,
yeah,
like,
and
kinda
you can see
similar.
he's bashed them up with a
Very
rock
good.
to just be like,
Like a fucking
And he's
from
like,
the
otter.
book, have the drink. Yeah, here we go. And he like push it
are
towards
these,
him.
these are vegan?
Yes.
What?
And my husband has prepared a lovely homemade tartar sauce.
Oh, thank you.
And it's
And
clearly
he,
not
like-
Guinness. It's like way too light. But he's like, Guinness.
he like drips the raw mussel and the tartar sauce into his mouth. He's like, oh boy, oh, gosh,
Delicious.
that's-
Really, a delicacy here. I'm sure.
Yes, it's quite, and he like runs to the bathroom and like vomits.
Good going, Colin. That bought us at least 10 minutes.
been
Marty
there from
claps
10.
Colin on the back there.
I found out the hard way. That's what it does to you.
Marnie, your hour on the beach has bought us wonderful time. At this point, if each townsperson delays him for 8 minutes, we should be
Marvelous.
right.
My lungs are really aching from all that cardio. I don't think I have it in me for much more of that at all. I'm afraid. Where are we going next? I think I hear him finishing up in there.
Yeah, with the squeak of the tap, he walks out. Right. Well, that was quite. I'm afraid I do need to continue counting.
Yes, of
counts.
course. This is person number 8 on our tour, Henry Hill, proprietor of the pub. And as you can see, Henry's
And
face.
he like walks up and he like has a measuring tape. Like he measures the growth and he like touches the face and he's like, yes, that's 8.
Yes.
Quite a lot we need to do.
Oh,
I'm wondering-
and it is going to be such a lovely day for us doing this
yes.
today. Yes.
And I want to see like smash scenes of like you bring him next to the church and like what happens at the church. You know what I mean? What does Thurston do while he's standing there? We can kind of just like montage it. So everyone think
man.
of one. So
Oh,
Thurston
man.
is at the church first. What is Thurston doing to
Note
keep him busy?
the wonderful woodwork upon these pews that date back to 1802. They were imported over from Scotland, where a chapel was disassembled and rebuilt at the same location so that God would still hear their call. Above you, wonderful stone gables, brilliant architecture.
Is that stone? It looks like plaster.
It has been modified over the years. The weather is unkind here. And up there, the beautiful, mighty, timeless Reverend Dunce. Reverend, he is ready to measure your cheeks.
And so it is told. And Reverend Dunce walks down and he walks in. Hello, you must be the man from Guinness. It's wonderful
You
to
must-
see you.
You must pardon him, he walks very slowly.
Oh, right. And Reverend turns around and walks back and walks even slower. It's all about the approach of it all. I can't quite just,
Note the small town grace in every footstep. As
Oh,
you
God.
an
Oh, I
active
tripped a
pacing
little bit.
forwards.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Um,
Looked completely intentional.
Yes, it was quite. Next scene, we have Marnie showing.
Yes. So we are just on the outskirts of town, and there's this like little booth set up with a very haphazardly scrawled tablecloth on the front of it that says 54th annual clam jam race. And there's like a little pennant flag.
I don't quite understand. What do I do with the clam?
If you just listen to me the first time,
It's been 20 minutes.
Clam Jam race is something that happens every year, and we couldn't possibly move it just because of your visit. As important of a man you are, and I think they're just going to be. Yes, there they are. And there's about 5 men who are all wearing like tank tops and shorts, and they're running down the beach. And she's like, "You'll have to excuse them. They can't possibly stop to be measured, but you can catch them if you head off right now."
Right. I suppose I can try to keep up in my vehicle. Where was it towed to, you said?
I don't know what you're talking about, but if you don't head off now, you might miss them.
All right. And he sort of like jogs on. Smash cut to Martin. Where do we see you delaying him?
Martin takes our good proprietor to the actual veterinary clinic. Hey, all right, so my wife's in here. Let me see if she's. Oh dear. Come take a look. And he gestures him into the back. And
I don't
Barb
actually need to measure women's
is in
faces,
the
but-
middle of doing a surgery, and she's wearing a big old mask. And goes, "I'm sorry. She'll be done here in the next 2 minutes. You'll be able to see her face. She doesn't have a beard or a mustache or
I don't
anything
need
like
to
that."
do-
No. I personally would feel so much guilt if you could not do your job to completion. And you need to see, you need to be sure. I totally understand. Don't worry. It's not an inconvenience to us. It'll only just take another minute or two.
Right. Well, I can wait.
Yeah, that'll be good. Here, you can come help me do some filing while we wait. I'm a little bit behind on all my filing, being so excited.
Should that animal be whining like that? That's quite a lot of blood. Is that?
It's fine.
Why are there so many cat cages?
Oh, have you not seen the cats?
I don't think so.
We have a wonderful population of felines.
Well, I've seen many
at Marie
cats on the
Cove.
way here, but
Yes.
I do catch.
And let me tell you this.
Oh God! Why is that one barking?
Oh,
Is that
that's
cat barking.
no.
This
sorry,
is
that's-
nonsense. I need to leave.
No. That's Stu. This is Stu. And Martin leans over and picks up the little chihuahua wearing a particularly matted orange yarn sweater. This is Stu. Stu's.
Oh God!
Sorry. Terribly allergic. Sorry.
To your own cat, to your own dog. Wonderful. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
all animals.
Yes.
Oh,
I'll just, and he like opens your wife's like thing, and then he's like, yeah, she's good, and you're good, thank you. Smash cut to like like Brock Beatty, the history teacher. He's like standing by the waterfront. He's like, just wait for it, just wait. And then like a plume of water shoots up. She's like, right, two more. Smash cut to Colin. You're delaying him somehow. What are you doing?
So you see them, he's taken him on like a kind of a circuitous route somewhere, and his suit is covered in like wood shavings, and if something happened back at the wood shop to cause him like a bit of discomfort. They get to a certain part on the road where there's a big booth that says 54th Annual Clam Jam on it. And he says, okay, we're here for the second leg of the 54th Annual Clam Jam.
The second leg?
We have multiple legs throughout the day. It's a really long race.
Amazing. Smash cut to now it's like 7:30, and he's finishing up a dinner at Henry Hills. It's late. The whole town is like watching him. And he's like eating another bite, and they're all like, he's like, and they're like, He's like, and that closes the third annual pie eating contest, and the winner once again is Mr. Stockard. And you see he's got like these pins attached to his chest.
Another
done.
medal. This one says T-ball champion on
Thank
it.
you. Yes, well, I really only need one person left. 113 clean-shaven faces. I'm wondering if there is another person I'm missing.
I feel like
and the town
all
goes
heads in
quiet.
the bar turn to like the window to see if there's.
Yes. Is that my vehicle down there? And he like stands up at the window. We haven't been to that house yet. So whose house is that?
Oh,
And the mayor's
yes.
like, that's John Davis.
Yes, Davis Auto Repairs.
He was taking care of your car with terrible troubles. I'm so sorry. Cat-related car troubles.
Yeah.
We
Sharp
haven't-
claws.
all
Yeah,
of
got
us.
everywhere.
But he's been. Well, that's why you haven't seen him yet, because he's been working on your car.
so busy making
all
sure that you
afternoon.
could
Yes.
get
Oh,
out
wonderful.
of here on
And he steps
John.
up and he like
Time.
slips out the door. And the whole town's like silent.
One of
And then the whole town starts running out the door.
Yes.
And he's like walking past cats. He's just like leisurely pacing. The town's kind of running down to the field, and he's kind of like leisurely pacing.
There's a sign like hung on the side of his house haphazardly that says John Davis's Auto Repairs, but repairs is
and
spelled
he gets down
wrong.
and he's like, "Excuse me, excuse me," and he walks down to the counter. And says, yes, it looks fine. And is he inside? He like turns back, and there's like 114 faces just standing there. And he's like,
Oh,
"Right,
Oh,
well, I
it
appreciate how
is
close."
the time of sunset and the annual performance.
Oh no, I've seen the Wicker Man. I don't want to.
Code.
Yes.
To be or not to be,
This is the good bit.
that is the question.
Oh, yeah.
Whether 'tis nobler in the mind's eye to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune,
Yes.
or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them, to die, to sleep no more.
Oh yeah.
And by sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that life is heir to.
Right,
'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm just going to speak with John Davis.
To sleep! To sleep! Perchance to dream!
Thurston stretches out the monologue to a full half hour as 8 o'clock comes in,
Aye,
and even the
there's the
citizens
round.
like clap
For
like.
in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when
The-
we have
the
shuffled
slowest
off this
slow
mortal
clap.
toil, must give us pause.
And he walks over to John Davis's door and he like knocks and he's like, "Yes, I'll let out." And John Davis opens the door, and he's standing there in his tinfoil hat and his beard. I don't quite understand. He turns back to like the 114 faces, and they all look towards the four of you.
Costume. Costume! He's the Joker.
Oh, John!
You jokester. Do we see anything landing in the field?
Not yet, but John walks directly past this man who sort of spins it. A joke.
It's no. When he
this
said
is-
joke,
this is-
when
this
he
is
said
the
joke, he
other-
meant ritual.
Yes.
The final shaved
encore-
face
Yes.
is to be the freshest shaved
yes,
face.
has to be. We've designed an entire special ceremony around it.
And you shall see.
Shakespeare ends with Shakes sheer.
Yeah, I mean, originally we thought you'd be bringing, a whole camera crew and a photographer, and so we organized this entire spectacle. But you,
This is
my
your
good
fault.
sir, you get to be.
You get to shave him.
You get to shave him.
We
With-
discussed this.
Right. Okay.
We all agreed to this plan.
Yep.
Very good. And he like turns and you see John Davis walking out to the center of the field. The whole town sort of like surrounds the edge of the field as John just sort of without pause walks towards the center of this field.
And the shaving is to happen out in the field, which is the place where we first conceived of this record being broken a year ago today.
It does need to be,
Yep, that's right.
I mean, it must. Look, Guinness doesn't really do this till 8 o'clock. It's practically 8.
Well,
now.
I'm sure you will be paid overtime
I'm
richly.
afraid if not everyone is shaven by 8 o'clock, it really doesn't.
Well, then I hope
count,
you
but-
had better get going.
In your car.
What?
If you don't want to stay and see the magnificent spectacle we've labored over for you.
All right. He turns around and sort of sees, and the whole town now watches. All 114, including the four of you, stand on the edge of this field, maybe a few feet in. John Davis is stopped in the center, and the Eric Stockard is maybe 10 feet in. He sort of turned confused, looking at John, and as he stands there, and John just turns around, a bright light glows all around him. Boom. This heavy thrumming just begins shaking everywhere. And over top, this massive saucer just kind of shimmers into view. It slowly and majestically lands in the center of the field, right before John. The town is silent, aghast. Even Eric Stockard stares in awe. And slowly, as the light grows more intense, a small staircase, a flat connecting piece, lowers itself down towards John. Without changing his look, without turning away, he walks directly up the platform and into the ship. Slowly, it begins retracting, and then slowly it begins to close. And for a moment, the whipping wind that surrounds this UFO is all you can hear. 114 slack-jawed people stand around, staring at this unidentified flying object. And then the platform lowers again. And it stretches again. And John walks down. The platform then retracts. And as soon as it arrived, the UFO lifts off. Silence amongst all 114 people. Silent as it was before it ever arrived. And John walks towards Eric Stockard. He reaches into Eric Stockard's hand, grabs the shaver, and shaves his beard in front of the Guinness man. And as all the hairs fall from his face, he hands the shaver back and he turns to you, Thurston. He says, "He wasn't on it." 114 people breathe a sigh of relief. The Guinness man kind of looks side to side at John Davis's face. He measures, he feels. Well, he turns to 114 members of Marie Cove and says, "I suppose you've got the record." And 114 people celebrate in enormous, uproarious applause as 114 members of Marie Cove win the Guinness Book of World Records for the cleanest shave. And as he reaches into his briefcase and hands it to Michelle Trelawney, and with shaking hands, she takes it and shows the town, he reaches into his briefcase again and lays it on, and he scribbles it out and signs something. He says, "And one more." And as he hands it to you four, it says, "The most cats in any one village." And as the town of 114 people go to bed in Marie Cove, there is a smile upon every person's face, whether it is shaven or not. And we are going to end it there for tonight.
Yay!
Beautiful.
The perfect game. Ladies and gentlemen.
That was
There we
glorious.
A clean shave for John Davis. Well done. You guys did so good.
That was really fun.
That was a lot of
That
fun.
was awesome.
Yeah. Very, very weird. It's funny.
If ever there was an Invictus stream directed by Wes Anderson, you know.
For real, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got some real vibes. Although I highly recommend, so there are two movies, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you watch.
Yeah,
There's
Gary.
a Canadian film. There's a Canadian film called The Grand Seduction.
Very good.
Highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's actually a remake of I think it's maybe a French film. But honestly, the Canadian remake is, I don't know if it's better, but it's fantastic. I really, really like it. Brendan Gleeson is in it. And it's about a small town, very similar to this vibe, that cannot open a factory. They all want to work, and they can't open a factory unless they have a doctor. But no doctor will stay in the town because it's kind of a nothing town. So they lie. They all try to convince this doctor that the town has so much going on. Like, they find out the doctor loves cricket, so everyone in the town learns how to play cricket.
But they do a bad job
But they
of
fucking
that.
hate it. And like he likes certain music, so they all pretend they like that music. It's
They like the one
Great
band that
movie.
he likes. Oh,
there's
it's
like
good.
and there's
Everyone
some,
is so fucking old.
there's
too.
some direct vibes like the doctor won't be working at the town unless there's like 100 people, and the town's only got like 50. So like they'll send a census taker, and like he counts them at a bar, and then as they walk across the place, all of them run to the other place, and he counts them again. It's really good. The Grand
That's very
Seduction,
good.
really fucking fun. The other movie is called Waking Ned Devine, which is also a really good movie if you haven't seen it. But anyway, those are the two kind of vibes we're going for. If you like the vibe of tonight's game, those movies are right on it, because that's what I was trying to emulate at least. But great job, you four. Really fun characters. Really great backstories. I had an absolute blast. And yeah, very, very weird little game. It's funny because I think this is the first game that I've run in a long time that I could see being a weird micro system. You know what I mean? Where you have your goal is to get this guy to shave. Like the setting is the same. You know what I mean? But like, and then all the things that could happen. So who knows? Maybe we'll see that in the future. But yeah, great job, everyone.
I like that the game kind of went like this.
Peaked at the end. Yeah, with like a lot of.
That was good.
Which was my intention once the Guinness guy came. I wanted to do a bunch of like montages.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how you guys would do it. Again, there's no real idea from it. So the community has some great ideas, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I was looking over there a little bit, but I don't
missed
want to.
it.
I don't want to be influenced.
They had a bunch of really fun ideas on how to basically either convince this guy to shave, you know, or convince him not to, or whatever. There's just a bunch of options. So
I think Colin Burkhardt was incredulous to like Maris would know who he was without the beard. Like she would know.
Colin. Well, it's funny because Colin also said a few things that I had noted, which was like I wanted the cat to be kind of a back pocket epilogue where you could still get a Guinness record if everything failed.
Yeah.
And Colin was like, "This should get most cats on a thing." And then he also mentioned that Maris should be that he's doing this because he's waiting for his wife. He called that right at the beginning, so that was also a good call.
That was really good.
I
was secretly hoping cats were going to be aliens.
I saw someone say that too.
Yeah.
But honestly, I wasn't convinced that aliens were real until the end anyway. So
Oh, you didn't know
that's
yet?
Fair. That's good.
That's
it
fun.
just made the most sense. I was like, how is this gonna end?
We found a lovely sort of like light way to find our way to that shave, because Thurston Landry guilting him over Thurston's impending death was not gonna be so beautiful.
I saw it. Did you have the consumption?
The mysterious movie illness that claims all old people.
I loved it. I liked it. It was a subtle play too. I was kind of like, like this is something that you could pick up if you're watching cleverly. But now we have a sequel to do, you know, a third Guinness Book of Record.
The grave of Thurston Landry.
The grave of.
There you go. That's one of those fourth ones to throw in to your like micro RPG day. The grave of Thurston Landry, Billy and Vince drifting.
I already forgot the other one.
I did too.
Bath.
That's right.
Anyway, that is it from us. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Please like the video and make sure you check out all of these wonderful people's stuff if you can. And as always, we will, as my good friend Gary, let's go James, because Gary got last week. As my good friend James always likes to say.
Be like William. Always have a monologue in the tank.
Yeah. Always have a monologue in the tank. Good night.
Good night.
That's so